I'm really curious that you have been a Broadway dancer. What your Broadway days like? What was your life like as a Broadway dancer?
uh, it's not as glorious as everyone thinks. Very long hours. Your whole life is about that from sunup to sundown. But oh, Lion King, when that elephant comes down the aisle at the very beginning of the show, is that not just the best moment ever in the Lion King? I love that moment.
I love
So,
that.
I think I came out of the womb, my poor parents wanting to be on the stage.
Mhm.
It, and every moment of my life up until I was on the stage professionally was all about what do I have to do to get on the stage.
I'm sure that it must be taking a lot of practice and rehearsals, no?
Oh yes, hours and hours of practice. And at the professional level, sometimes you're getting 6 weeks of rehearsal, sometimes only 9, which means, at oftentimes you're rehearsing 10, 12, 14 hours a day.
How many years were you there?
So I was a professional at the age of 12.
Suzanne, what happened on stage that changed your life entirely?
I was in a very tall lift, one-handed lift, my partner, and slipped. We don't really know, water stain, sweat stain probably. And he valiantly tried to catch me, but failed. And I shredded every ligament in my right ankle and foot. And it meant the end of my professional dancing career.
Suzanne, last year I was in New York and I happened to see a Broadway which was called The Lion King, and it was my first Broadway, and I loved it. And I'm really curious that you have been a Broadway dancer. So, what were your Broadway days like? What was your life like as a Broadway dancer?
Oh, it's not as glorious as everyone thinks
Yeah.
because they're very long hours. Your whole life is about that from sunup to sundown. But oh, Lion King, when that elephant comes down the aisle at the very beginning of the show, is that not just the best moment ever in the Lion King? I, I
Yeah,
love I love that moment.
I love
So,
that. Mhm.
I think I came out of the womb, my poor parents wanting to be on the stage.
Mhm.
And every moment of my life up until I was on the stage professionally was all about what do I have to do to get on the stage. And every choice I made was about what do I do next? What do I do next? And so, having the ability to be in shows like Peter Pan and Annie and Cats gave me the opportunity to work alongside some really big professionals and stars, but also really understand what it was doing to my body and my brain. And every day is like a marathon. It is like it's like an Olympic sport, and you have to take care of your voice and your body and literally the mental game that goes into showing up every day for 8 shows a week for weeks on end is some of the most difficult things that your body and your brain ever go through, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure. The way I was seeing it on stage, like the coordination, the perfection, and everything, like when we see that in movies, it's okay because there are so many takes. But
Right.
doing it on a stage with lots of people watching you there, it's not a joke. Like it's such a big deal. I'm sure that it must be taking a lot of practice and rehearsals, no?
Oh yes, hours and hours of practice. And at the professional level, sometimes you're getting 6 weeks of rehearsal, sometimes only 9, which means, at oftentimes you're rehearsing 10, 12, 14 hours a day.
Hmm.
And so think about that. And the amount of hours that you're lifting someone as a dancer, I know there's a lot out there about body image, but if you're thinking about someone that's lifting me up, if they're lifting someone hours on end, when you're 1 pound over and they're doing it hours on end, I mean, that's a lot of weight. And so there is a lot that goes into the whole being, the whole cast, how everyone is set on the stage. When one person is even 3 inches off of their mark and the lights go out, it makes a huge impact on how you exit, how you come on, where everything is. And so everything is very exacting in every single show. It is a lot of coordination, backstage, on stage, technical, everyone. It's a team effort for sure.
Exactly. And how many years were you there?
So I was a professional at the age of 12.
Oh.
And yeah, so I've had a very long life and career. And I guess my last role was in my early 30s. So I had a very, very long career, still
Yeah.
doing things off and on. And I am very blessed and very blessed to have artists still in my circle and wonderful, wonderful experience in life and things about being in the artist world that continue to teach me lessons.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And I really, really love what you said. It's a beautiful, beautiful show. Like, I'm sure that every show must be like that, the one that I watched. And like you must be a perfectionist by now.
Well, probably, and that makes me difficult to work with. And someone like Julie Taymor, who was the director choreographer for something like Lion King, just the imagination of someone and the vision that you have, and then to bring that to light, and the trust factor of I do know what I'm doing, and to bring that to fruition. There's a lot of decisions that have to be made. There's a lot of money on the line for, especially for Broadway, and so the impact of those shows when they have a long life like Lion King, it's a global impact, and the story that gets told again and again and again, it truly is magical.
Suzanne, what happened on stage that changed your life entirely?
Well, so I say I fell into the business that I have now, and it truly was a fall. So I was in a very tall lift, one-handed lift, my partner, and slipped. We don't really know, water stain, sweat stain, probably. And he valiantly tried to catch me, but failed. And I shredded every ligament in my right ankle and foot. And it meant the end of my professional dancing career. So even surgery or not surgery didn't matter. There was no way that professionally I was going to come back from an injury like that. And in that instant, in that moment, my entire life, not to be dramatic, but flashed before my eyes, because literally from the time I was 3, I
Mm.
only wanted one thing, and that was to be a performer. And I only knew one thing. And so it was very difficult to have your entire identity literally fall away from you. And it was a deep, dark place that I fell into after that. It was truly horrible.
Yeah, and we also know that every beautiful blessing comes to us only after such painful events. We were just talking about it before I hit the record button. So, what
Right.
did that moment open for you, not just physically, but spiritually, mentally, emotionally? And what did you fear in that moment?
Well, I'll be honest. Uh, I had to throw myself a pretty fantastic pity party.
Hmm.
So I think we do ourselves a disservice when we say, "Oh, everything changed and everything is fine." And in all honesty, to this day, I can't go watch the Nutcracker without completely going into a mess. I mean, I cry every
Hmm.
time I see the ballet, the Nutcracker, because I miss it.
Yeah.
I'm almost 55. I wouldn't be, still being the Arabian at 55. My body couldn't take it, but still there's a part of me that misses that even now. But I had to really go through the dark days. I had to go through the dark night of the soul,
Yeah.
as it's known, and really give attention to what I was going through, the grief of that moment, what it meant for me, and really give it attention. And so what I would say to everyone listening and watching is, if there's something big in your life, it is grief. And grief does not always mean the death of a human or a fur baby, but it could be the grief of a dream.
Hmm.
And for me, that's what it was. And for me, even bigger, it was the grief of my identity. And
Yeah.
so that takes time and processing, and at an emotional level, even at a cellular level, I had to let that be for a little bit, and I had to let that strip away. But at some point, you have to decide, is this all there is for me? And so that moment of decision making changed everything, and is the basis of the work that I do today. But you do have to decide. So you can decide to be a victim of your circumstance and let that define you for the rest of your life, and let that circumstance be the end of your story. Or
Hmm.
you can say that this that has happened to me informs me and gives me something about me, but it is the launching pad of now what will be.
Yeah.
And for me, that's the decision I made, which is everything that's happened to me is part of my story, but will not be the end of my story.
Yeah.
But you have to make that conscious decision. And so I think for most people, and that's my opinion, for most people, you decide that you will live in the land of what was, or you will live in the land of this was, but there is something else that will be. And for me, that is the story of what I am continuing to write.
Yeah, that's very interesting that you said it, and I would say here that it's also important to sit with your pain, with your grief.
Yes.
Most of the people they are talking about, like, that just come out of it, law of attraction, and your vibration drops, and, your frequency just goes down. So it's all also important that without just being a kind of victim or something, just sit with our stories, with that pain, with that grief, and feel that. Otherwise, we will just push that off inside of our system, and that will blow up like in different other ways, like diseases or anything else. So I have been that there, like I have always like tried to be very, very positive all the time, like okay, I would not. So this is basically, I was escaping all the pain, and I was
Right.
trying to be strong because the society wants us to be strong and, very
Right.
brave. And it's not okay to feel sad because you so it's like sometimes it's also okay to be with your story and to,
Exactly.
yeah, so
I,
that's
I
like
I
that.
do think it is important and that's what I call my pity party, the dark night of the soul.
Yeah.
There's a lot written in spirituality about the dark night of the soul. And if you don't give it attention, like you said, it's going to show up in addiction. It's going to show up in disease.
Yeah.
It's going to come out in a way that you don't want it to come out at a very misopportune moment. And so give yourself the time that you need and that your body at a cellular level, because you are holding on to that at a cellular level. And
Yes.
we're just coming into that and understanding what's happening to us in the cells when we experience trauma. And if you're not allowing your cells to get rid of all of that, and that needs time and attention, then it's just going to hold on to that forever. And
Yeah.
so you have to do a clearing, a detoxing. And that time frame is different human to human. And so my timeline is different than your timeline, than different than someone else watching. But the time is the important component there. And
Yeah.
so once you've given it time and you can feel the shift start to happen, you do need to then make a decision. Do I need more time? Am I going to stay with what was, or am I going to start to begin to emerge into something else?
Yeah. So what did you fear in that moment? I mean, any specific fear that, trapped you in that time?
Well, honestly, I call it a bathroom moment. I think we can all identify, like, especially when I speak on stages, I talk about I was on the bathroom floor, and sometimes the bathroom floor, it's so hard to get up off the bathroom floor. And
Mm.
I was having panic attacks and anxiety attacks, and the bathroom floor felt like the most comfortable place on the planet. And it took friends coming over and honestly putting on ABBA, and saying, okay, like all you have to do today is sit up. That's it. You
Mm.
just have to do the next one small thing. And once you're sitting up, how are you doing? You check in with your body. Are you comfortable? Can you do the next thing? The next thing is let's stand up. And then you check in. And so I think we make it huge, like, okay, you go from the bathroom floor to going to get a job. No, 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 no. There's 1,000 decisions that happen from the bathroom floor to the job. And
Yes.
so it's making sure that we're giving time, attention to the next thing, and then the next thing. And in all the next things, you do need to do a full check-in of your entire system and stop when it feels unsafe, because that's as far as you can go that day. And then the next day, you can go a little bit further. And so again, everyone's timeline is going to be different. But I do think having friends or family or someone near you that reminds you, okay, you can do this. And for me, it was music. I'm a dancer. And so it was eventually like, we're going to get up and dance. We're going to shake up the funk, that's in the body. And that's what did it for me. And I still have dance parties when I'm not feeling really great. I'm like, we're going to have a 2-minute dance party and then see how I'm feeling about things. But I think you've got to figure that out. And so I would encourage everyone, no matter what you're dealing with, is do the next small step and then just do a quick scan. Now, what do you need to do next? And for me, that is the easiest way to get people to do the next right.
So after surviving both a traumatic injury and domestic violence, though we have not talked about it yet, what was the first decision you made that felt like your comeback?
It really was to say, I am not going to let the bathroom floor
Mm.
be my place of comfort. And I had to just say to myself, is this going to be what defines me? Whatever age I was, is this all that there is? I think of, there's lots of music out there that's written about, the glory days of high school or what
Yeah.
was. I think about those songs and how sad those songs are. Like if that is what you look back and go, that was the best time of my life. And I am now choosing to believe at, the grand old age of almost 55 to say every year can be your glory year, which means that every year that you celebrate another year, I get to have another glory year. And so for me, it was making that decision that, okay, this next year, there's going to be something that's going to be amazing.
Mm.
And so that was the decision that changed everything was I am going to choose to have something amazing happen to me this year. But then by making that decision, then you're looking for it. And like you mentioned, the law of attraction. And so when you begin to look for something, your brain in neuroscience says your brain does confirmation bias, which is your brain is like, oh, you're telling me to go look for something amazing that's happening to you. Your brain will then go find that for you.
Yeah.
So that's what happened is I began to see all these great things that were happening and opportunities and friendships. And then I was like, oh, my life is really, is it everything I want it to be? No. And even now, is it everything that I want it to be? Of course not. But is my life great? Yes. Every single day, there are great things about my life. And so I am making a choice, even today, to say there are glorious things happening today.
This is very nice. I mean, this is a nice thing about life. I say that, like, we have been given that power of choice, which is
Yes.
a very powerful thing. And we can, at any point in time, we can just use that choice and we can choose that tool and we can change our life. So, of course, things will not change overnight, but then they might take a while, but then they definitely would change for sure.
Yes. And it doesn't minimize the bad things that are happening to you. What I do think is it does change you to say, how am I looking at what is happening around me and to me?
Yeah.
And that is the beginning of change.
So you say you built your life through cognitive wellness. What did that rebuilding actually look like in everyday life?
Well, I think for me, it led me to a path of understanding, okay, what is actually happening in the brain? So for so many people that are struggling with the too many choices or overwhelm or anxiety or whatever label we're putting on things today, whatever that label is today, what is happening here at a science level that is leading us to so many disorders and people being unable to drag themselves out of the what wasness of things. And, my company is called the Sparkle Factor, and my trademark system is the Sparkle Factor because I feel like we're all just living in this place of dim, and too many things are taking our light away from us and taking our power away from us. So I began to figure out what is happening at a cellular level in our brain where some people are able to pull themselves up and to look at things differently, and some people are not.
Yeah.
And honestly, the brain science is where we go for me. And so I began to look at what happens to decision making, what happens neurologically, how can you grow new neural pathways when people make decisions, what happens in your gray matter and in your neurons, and when people choose not to do that, what does happen in the brain, which has led me to the work today. And so when you say in the way that I'm choosing to live life, that is what I'm choosing. And so I'm certified in neuroscience, and part of the way that I coach and consult now and speak is using neuroscience in a way that is, I think, capturing people to say, you have more power in what you're thinking and what you're saying to yourself than you realize. Yes. And when you do that, you are changing the fabric of your brain. And when you change the fabric of your brain, you are changing your existence on the planet. And when you change existence on your planet, you change your actions, and then you change everything by your actions. And so that is how I'm changing my reality and everyone else's.
Yeah, this is beautiful. Self-talk is extremely, extremely important.
Oh,
And
yes.
of the time, self-talk is dangerous. Like it's talking about, we most of the times normal people are talking to themselves the way they will never talk to anybody else. They are just constantly judging themselves, criticizing them, and just pitying them or just hating them for things. I have been there. I was a person who hated myself. I even hated my name. And then I used my nickname. And then for many years, I did not use my name, Hina. It was like when I was in my in my corporate job, and never said that. Okay, on papers, this is the name, but call me this. So because I had so much of self hate that, and when I was talking about myself, it used to be like that until I found a way to change my life entirely. That it is like a dream life that I'm living right now. So again, this is so important that we learn the language of prosperity, of success, instead of talking badly with ourselves, which is like humiliating. I think the most, like most of the times, we humiliate ourselves than anybody else would.
Yes. And one of the things that I've encouraged my clients to do, besides, you hear about writing messages on the mirror, like things that you need to see, like write something like where you see it all the time, which
Yeah.
is great. I highly encourage that. And
Mhm.
instead of using a marker, I say lipstick because lipstick is really hard to get off the mirror. So it's going to be there.
Yeah.
But an easy thing to do, if you have pets, for example, I'll say, do you, like I have dogs, and I'll with my dog, I'm like, oh, your belly is so cute, and you say it that way. And then I say, now, can you say that to yourself? Just
Yeah.
like that. Oh, Suzanne, your belly's so cute. Because if you can't do that, you have work to do.
Yes.
You should be able to talk to yourself like you talk to your best friend, like you talk to your pet. And if you can't, then just know you've got some work to do to
Yeah.
heal yourself in
Yeah.
the way that you see yourself and talk to yourself.
Yeah. Be your own most favorite.
Yes, be in love with yourself because you have to love yourself from the time that you're born till the time that you leave this planet.
Yeah.
And so you are the most important relationship you have. So
Yeah.
care for that deeply.
Yeah, this is so inspiring, Suzanne. And your story is very, very inspiring, by the way. I mean, this is like it's a very movie kind of story, and we say that this like season three of this show is on that theme. Like every life is a movie, and you are the star of yours. And as I'm
Oh,
just listening to your story more and more, I know that you have definitely directed your movie the best way, and now you are
I
doing it
love
with
that.
your clients too.
I'm going to have to steal that. That is fabulous. I love looking at it that way. Good job. That's great.
Suzanne, you call yourself the chief sparkler, and I love that. What gave you permission to sparkle again after so much of darkness?
Well, I would say it is about the fact that I think that it's the conversation we were just having. I decided I'm going to be my own cheerleader. I decided I can't wait on anyone else to
Hmm.
be my champion. So after my divorce, a friend of mine gave me a shirt that said that I am my own self-rescuing princess.
Hmm,
So my
wow.
last name is Castle, as you saw in the show, and that's my real last name, like a princess. And I'm a big Disney person, done all the Disney things, worked with Disney,
Yeah.
and
And your name says Suzanne Castle.
yes, I know it's my real last name is Castle. And so it's the shirt I wore proudly to say I am a self-rescuing princess. And so I am not waiting on anyone to rescue me. I am not waiting on anyone to advocate for me. I'm not waiting. And when I realized that, how many other people on the planet are waiting? And I decided in that moment, that's how I can build my business
Yeah.
is teaching people how to decide to make better decisions that don't allow them to wait, to get out of overwhelm. But it starts with me. And
Mhm.
so I took all the neuroscience, all of the creativity that I'd learned from being in entertainment and packaged that into my own system. And,
Mhm.
and then that is what I'm teaching and certifying people in and consulting in. And really to find a name, I said, okay, now what is this? I don't want to be COO. I don't want to be a CEO. That's not me. I'm like, you know what I am? I am a chief sparkler. I
Yeah.
am like the firework starter of this movement
Yeah.
of being your own light bringer in the world. Don't wait on anybody else. You need to bring your own light.
Yeah, yeah, that's very creative, like, that chief sparkler. Like, I really, really, truly love that. I also would like to say that women, like, as you were just talking about it before we started recording, that women are waiting for somebody's permission. It's
Yeah.
everywhere. Like in India, there's a lot of such stuff, but it's everywhere as we talked about it. And we women, we take the kind of responsibilities like overburden ourselves with stuff that is actually not ours to begin with, and then
Right.
we never give ourselves permission to be free.
Yes.
So I would like to share that story again with the people who are listening right now that I shared with you. Like recently, I shared that post on Instagram where I have been nominated by like Fortuna Award, Global Excellence Awards in Dubai, and I just was sharing that news to my with my Instagram network, And I wrote that post like from $0 to $100,000 annual contracts, and then how the journey was for the 5 years. I did not make any money, and then after that, like things happened, started happening, and now this is it. And then I was so uncomfortable with that post after doing so much work on myself. I would like to say that, and then I think within 2 days I deleted that post because I could not have that, take that burden of being too much in, because Instagram is the place where my family is connected.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah. So with the people who are out, I mean, who are not my family, I was okay sharing that with them, with them, that information. But with my family, I didn't want to be too much. So I think this is something that's happening in today's world with women. What would you say on that?
Oh, I think definitely. And I will say a lot of this, I'm hearing more and more about this, and I don't know that it's always identity. I do think a lot of it is our identity,
Yeah.
but I also think it's about the amount of decisions that we're making, and we're so overwhelmed.
Mhm.
So there was a recent study that came out that said on average, so there's some below, some above. Men, now I don't want to get into a gender argument, but men, so this is just the study.
Yeah.
Men make 20,000 decisions every day, which is a lot. If you think about that, you're like, a
Yeah.
day, 20,000, that's huge. Women make 35,000.
Okay.
Okay, so imagine that. Okay, so most women, one, we're not struggling because we don't have enough information. We're struggling because we're drowning in it, in too many decisions, in too many tabs open, and a lot of that is about identity.
Yeah.
Should I post? Should I not post? Is someone going to like me? Is someone not going to like me?
Yeah.
Um, do I have enough information? Do I not have enough information? And so I think we have identity, and then we're trying to show up, and then we have all the things we're trying to do, and we're trying to keep everything together, and we're trying to be a good daughter or mom or lover or whatever it is. And we are just drowning in that. And
Mm.
so I imagine the fatigue of all of that. I just want to say you're normal.
Yeah.
You're normal
Yeah.
because making 35,000 decisions and you're like, I need to let people know this amazing thing is happening and inspire people, which I know your heart. And that's why you want to do that. And then you're overthinking Olivia, which is what I call her, is overthinking Olivia, came in. You're like, oh, I got to take that down
Yeah.
because somebody's going to see this and because, she started chatting at you, and it steals your sparkle away,
Mhm.
right? Because
Yeah.
it just keeps you second guessing all the things. And that is what I think is keeping women, especially, burning out
Yeah.
over and over and over, because that decision making system just goes into almost into like a misfire because there's too much of it. And so I imagine everyone listening, whether you're male or female listening to this
Yeah.
right now, like 20,000 to 35,000, there's a lot there. And
Yeah.
so if we could all learn, what little decisions am I wasting too much energy on?
Yeah.
Because if I'm making 35,000, I want my decision energy to go to the big things and not the little things. And so when identity is coming up, I just want to say that takes a lot of energy. And
Yeah.
so it's going to, like in our conversation, doesn't matter how much work you're going to do on yourself, there's going to be decisions that come up and you're like, oh, I'm still, I mean, I just think that's normal.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
normal, and we are always like work in progress. And let's agree on that. It's okay to be too much.
right. Yes, it is okay. And there's going to be a constant mental load and blurred boundaries. And so as long as I want us to recognize that and not make it bad. Like I'm so tired of people going, oh, you just need better this. I'm like,
Mm.
you know me. I want to normalize that and go, okay, yeah, I'm having a normal day as a woman in business trying to do all the things. It's normal. And sometimes I make good decisions and sometimes I make bad decisions.
Yeah.
Thank God I'm making decisions. Like at the end of the day, that's what I want to say. And so, I mean, I just want to say you're doing business in life the way you need to do business in life.
Yeah.
And I'm tired of the shame spiral because I don't think it's helping move anyone forward at all. And it's definitely not helping your light to shine, is
Yeah.
feeling bad. That's not helping.
Absolutely, it's not helping. What's your advice to women who feel afraid of being too much in their industry? You speak on stages and run Verve, that's your event. What's
Uh-huh.
the biggest intention behind that?
So I love that we're going to talk about Verve. So this is I'm about to do my 6th year next
Yeah.
month, and it's a 3-day live event. And it started. This is going to get to your question. it started because I was going to events. I'm sure everybody can relate. And there was a lot of networking happening, right? And at the end of the event, I'm like, okay, I met some great people and that's it. And
Mhm.
then I would go to events and they're filled with all this information. I'm taking notes, I'm taking notes, I'm taking notes. And I would leave the event and I'm like, I don't know where to start. Like I have all these great notes. I don't know what to do first. And then I go to events and I get really motivated. I'm like, oh, incredible speaker. And then I leave and I'm like, and that was it. And so Verve came together to say, okay, there's got to be a way where we can put all of those pieces together in the same room. And when we do that, we're going to allow women, especially because it's a women
Yeah.
specifically event, to be like, okay, I'm going to resource myself in a different way where I'm not going to leave burned out. I'm going to leave with a plan for my life and my business. Like you literally work on your business in there. So when you're asking the client the question, how can you show up differently? What I would say is, do you have a plan? If you want to show up differently, you can't just wing it. I mean, so if you're getting up today or tomorrow and you're like, well, I'm not really sure what to do. Well, first you got to make a decision. Not really sure what to do. That's not working for you. So the first thing to do is, okay, what one big decision do I need to make for my life to move forward? That's empowering. What one big decision do I need to make today to move my business forward? So that's how I'm elevating women is saying, take that power back, make a decision and execute the decision. There's not a, I think you would agree with me here. I don't think there's very many decisions that in 24 hours is going to bankrupt you. There's a few, but most of our decisions are not going to bankrupt us or we can't come back from it within 24 hours. So just make the decision already. So I think what I'm doing for women and for myself is saying, just make the decision already. And then it's like we were talking about, and then do a body scan. How do I feel? Am I doing okay? Now, what's the next decision I need to make? And so I think one way to elevate each other is to lock arms and say, hey, I'm going to come beside you while you're making this decision and remind you, you can do this. I'm behind you. I'm beside you. I'm in front of you. I'm cheering you on. And so I am advocating for this movement of women that's like, I'm not stepping on you. I'm not stepping over you. I'm coming alongside you. Like we're going to do this thing together. And that I think is a different way of being in the world right now is we're going to do the thing together. We're not doing it in competition. And I'm not doing it to get a job and take it from somebody else. If anything, I'm using my network to get everybody else connected. And it may not even lead to an opportunity for me. It's going to lead to an opportunity for somebody else. And I'm so glad for that. Because at the end of the day, I am championing every person that I know. I want to speak their names in rooms they're not in.
Yeah.
And I want them to speak my name in rooms I'm not in.
Yeah.
And wouldn't the world be better if we acted like that all the time?
Of
And
course.
that's the way I think to elevate everybody.
Yes, yes. This is very beautiful. I would say that Verb is a wonderful name. I mean, I just read it in your profile, and I said, okay, this is a beautiful name for an event. So, would you like to talk a bit about it, and how can people join that, and
Yeah,
what exactly where it actually happens?
Yeah, so this year it's in Texas, in the United States. It's in Arlington. It's October 16, 17, and 18. And there's people that come from all over the world. It's not just United States things. And for example, one of our speakers this year is the number 2 LinkedIn sales navigator person on the planet. Her name is Tamika Brunetti. She'll be on the stage. We have an Emmy award-winning producer and journalist who's going to talk to you about getting free PR and how to get on news for free, giving you the secret. So there's all kinds of people that come in this room. Verve, the name, because it's not a word that people use anymore, but it's about pizzazz and energy and spirit and enthusiasm. And that's what this event is it's a room. I mean, within 5 minutes, you feel like, wow, I feel like I belong here. And this is a room of 100 other people that want me to succeed. And I mean, I just got goosebumps. There's not a lot of other events out there that I attend that are like that. And again, I attended it because I couldn't find it. And I know it's my event, but even if someone else took over this event, I will tell you, I would go to this event. It's that important. And for most of the people that once they come, they continue to come. In fact, we started it with 20 people in the room because I thought it was an intimate event, and every year it's grown and it's going to continue to grow. Next year, I think we're going to have to change the format because it just keeps getting bigger. And now we have sponsors and we've got people coming to us to speak and do workshops. And so it's a great movement. And I appreciate you even talking about it on your show. It means a lot to me because we're under the radar. I haven't really done a lot of advertising. I think we're going to have to start doing advertising because we've got people in Hollywood going, we come to LA. Let's do this event in LA. I'm like, okay, let's figure this out. So yeah, it's exciting.
I can imagine the kind of energy that this event would have, because the kind of energy that you have, the way you are talking about it so passionately, and I would love to join that event if I am there in your
Oh,
neck.
we need to do that, or I need to come overseas, and we need to do one across the pond where you are. Like we need to work on that together. I would love that.
Really, I would love that too. Suzanne, where do most entrepreneurs unknowingly sabotage themselves on a brain level? Because you work with a lot of entrepreneurs, like female entrepreneurs, I think most of.
Yes.
What do you see, like where they sabotage themselves the most?
I think most, especially the women that I'm working with, is about not making decisions at all. So when people come to me at first when we're working together, usually the question is, they go, I'm really overwhelmed and I'm not sure what to do. And I want to say, oh gosh, darling, please, I'm from the South, darling. No, 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 no. You can't say, I don't know what to do. Because as soon as you say, I don't know what to do, your brain is like, you're right. You don't know what to do. Because we talked about that earlier. Your brain is going to be like, you're right. Your brain is going to tell you and show you exactly what you're telling it. So when you say, I don't know what to do, your brain is going to show you all the reasons you don't know what to do. So what we start with is we got to boss your brain, which is, okay, brain, this seems hard. This seems like a challenge. And I've gone through challenges before. So I need you to help me find a resource or a person. I need for you to help me remember who I was when I came through something hard. And we are going to create a plan that seems sustainable. So what we work on is how you're talking to your brain, how you can make a plan that is sustainable, because if it's not sustainable, you won't do it. And then we work on your decision-making skills. So what do you decide today? And then we have a daily evaluation sheet that you go through. Like, who were you when you showed up? What worked? What didn't work? And then you make a little subtle change for the next day. So that works no matter what field you're in, whether you're service-based or small business or large business. But how am I showing up as a decision maker? That's it. It sounds easy, but it is kind of complicated because no one likes to do a self-evaluation every day. And that seems like a lot of work, but you can do it in 5 minutes or less. But it's training you on the system to help your brain show up for you. So that's the most important thing is, okay, brain, like I talk to my brain all the time. Okay, brain, you've got to show up for me. And this is what I need from you today. I need for you to find opportunities in this. I need for you to da 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 da. And as soon as I tell my brain's like, okay, let's go do that thing. Instead of, I don't feel like doing something today. Your brain's like, yeah, let's go watch Netflix.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, our brain is the most powerful tool we have. And when we talk to our brain like a child, like the way you are suggesting, let's do this. Like it's a best friend or maybe a child, kind of like just talk to that like that, because it
Right.
doesn't know that what's possible. I mean, of course, it would just follow your instructions and it would find the opportunities and scans everything that is available for you. But then you need to give that instruction to that. Is like giving instruction to your computer.
That's right. That's right. I think of it like this, your brain is kind of like a standard operating procedure. And so you have to pull the file cabinet out with the right procedure and tell your brain, this is the procedure I need you to follow. And as much as we're learning about the brain, we haven't evolved much from cave times. So we're basically just cave girls, running around, waiting for the Tyrannosaurus Rex to just, chomp at us. And so our brain, every time we do something new, our brain's like, oh, don't go do that. You're going to get eaten by the Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Yeah.
And you have to say, you know what? I'm going to go try that. You're right. It's scary. So tell your brain, you're right. Thank you for trying to protect me, but I'm going to go do that thing anyway. Because your brain only knows that you're about to get eaten. It doesn't understand that when you go speak at an event, you're actually not going to die. But your brain is going to tell you you're going to go die because it only knows survival and protectionism. And so you just have to say, oh, you're right. Thank you for trying to protect me. I'm going to go do this. And then I'm going to check in with you. And we're going to see if we're okay. So it sounds kind of basic and simple. Like you said, talk to it like a toddler. But when you can do that, it takes the anxiety down and the pressure down. And you'll realize, oh, my brain is on my team.
Yeah.
Fear is on my team. It's
Yeah.
just trying to protect me. And I want to be protected, but I also want to do big things. And you'll find that balance much easier and your anxiety level will go way down.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you on that. Suzanne, let's talk about your signature concept from to do to tada. I think that has come from your dancing days.
It does. Yes, for sure. Yes. Yeah, 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 yeah. I don't know about you, but most people, I'm trying to find something here. Most people have like a to-do like this, right? And you like write all of your things. I'm an advocate for that when you're brain dumping. But if your to-do list has more than about 5 things on it in a day, here's what happens. You never get to ta-da, like where you're,
Yeah.
you know, and because what happens is you could probably, in realistic terms, only do 3 meaningful tasks a day.
Yes.
And so if you have more than 3 or 5, your brain hangs on to what you didn't get done. Like that, like 24-hour news cycles, they run that ticker tape on the bottom, right? Your brain is doing that, even though you are doing something else. Your brain's like, we didn't do this, we didn't do this, we didn't do this, we didn't do this. And it just keeps going. And so when you think about your energy and why you're tired at the end of the day, or you're like, oh, I just can't make another decision. And why can't I figure something out? Like it just feels really heavy. It's because you never got through your to-do list. Your brain is still hanging on to all those things on the list that you didn't get to.
Mm.
So instead, what I advocate is a brain dump list. And then all those things need to go somewhere. And the somewhere is not a running to-do list. So your to-do list is today, I'm going to do 1, 2, and 3, and they get calendared. And then everything else goes somewhere. Another day, the parking lot, not right now, next week, whatever. And then you tell your brain everything has a place. And then your brain's like, and it doesn't just hang on to those things. So most of us are failing because we just have a running list.
Mm.
Even if we put it in our phone, like my significant other, Prince Charming, keeps a running to-do list in his phone. And I keep telling him, honey, that's not the way to do things. Like you're not helping yourself. I know you have to capture things, but once you capture it, everything, single thing on that list needs to have a place if you want your brain to function effectively. So that's where you get to ta-da, is get through your to-do list to get to ta-da. You don't just have it ongoing every day.
I love that. I mean, this is so creative, and this is like kind of joy. And by the way, I can't survive. I just don't thrive with that to-do list kind of stuff. I never do that. I have certain slots in my time,
Yes.
like 90 minute, 45 minute. For example,
Right.
45 minute I will work on my podcast. 90 minute I will do some kind of marketing thing, or some content creation, and that is it. And then I never have this thing. And then I definitely know that as from my vision document, that what exactly I'm creating here. And then most of my work like tasks will come from my vision document. And
Yes.
then I would just place them in categories. And I just want a lot of time for myself, for my swimming, for my guitar, for my singing, for my Zumba dance, for my
Yeah, there you
workout,
go.
my yoga, all that. So I want a lot of time for myself, and it's only this much of time that I work for my business, because I know
Right.
that when I am so well, then my business will also thrive.
That's right. And you know what's brilliant about that, besides the fact that you're just brilliant,
Yeah.
is that when you say, I have 5 minutes for this thing,
Yeah.
you will do it in 5 minutes. There's a law about that. There's a law of the universe about that. So when your brain is like, okay, we only got 5 minutes, let's go. But if you just don't have a time frame,
Yeah.
then it just sucks. It just stays out there, which is why you're not getting things completed.
Mm.
And so for anyone listening, if that's you, try this out.
Yeah.
Say, okay, if you've had something hanging on for a while, say, I'm gonna clean out a drawer. I'm giving myself 10 minutes. I promise you, 90% of you will get it done in 10 minutes. And you'll
Yeah.
be like, why didn't I get it done before now? Because you didn't give it a time frame. And
Yeah.
so I love that you're doing this. And if more people would do this, we'd have more time for play and
Yeah.
for fun and for hobbies and all the things that make us a better human. And when you're a better human, you're going to work better too.
Yes, yes, absolutely. I love that. It's like Elon Musk says that. I'm not sure, like a lot of people are not his fans, but then he says that, and I love that what he says, that you give yourself an entire day to clean your house, and you will do that in 20, and you give yourself 30 minutes, and you would do
Yep.
that. So kind of concept where just give yourself some really short deadline. Why do you
Right.
want a lot of time to, so you never do that? So it's
Exactly.
interesting and have a lot of time for your own fun and play.
That's right. I mean, I think about cleaning house. Like my house gets miraculously clean before people come over
Yeah.
in no time flat. But if I've got a whole day, yeah, it'll take me all day to clean the house. And
Yeah.
so that principle, I love that quote from Elon. I think if we could approach lots of things in our world like that, we would be much more efficient
Yeah.
beings.
Suzanne, what is the last words? What last words you would like to say to my audience as
Oh
we
my
wrap?
gosh, this has been such a fabulous conversation. I want to say thank you first for having the conversation, for being brave about the conversation, for allowing me to be a part of this. Thank you. It's so important. But the other thing that I would like to leave everyone listening is I don't think that the best CEOs on the planet do any more than the rest of anybody. I think they just decide better.
Yeah.
So if you want to do better, if you want to do more, it starts deciding better. So that's what I would love to leave with the audience today.
Yeah. And where they can connect with you, on which social platform you are most active.
Okay, well, here's the thing. If you'll go to suzannecastle.com, all my social links are there. And I'm active on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn the same, believe it or not. And I've got about the same number of followers on all the platforms. And so go to your favorite platform and follow me there. And there's goodies all over SuzanneCastle.com, all kinds of free stuff. So go there and then connect with me. And that's the easiest way.
Thank you, Suzanne. It was a wonderful conversation, and I really mean it, because it's beautiful, and we talked about something that is really really close to my heart, and I love your story. I love the energy that you bring to the show, and all the very best. And yeah, thank you very much. I hope to record with you in person in studio sometime.
Me too. And thank you so much. I loved this. It was very valuable to me too.
Thank you.